Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out the Akko SPR67 or SPR67 barebones kit that was sent over to me by Lethal Gaming Gear themselves for my honest review. This keyboard comes with an amazing unboxing experience. This keyboard has a gold middle piece and you can find that gold accent middle piece on the box itself as well. And inside the box you get two different plates, and keep in mind the price of this keyboard is only $200. And when I mean only, I'm saying that as you get a lot for your money. You get an FR4 plate and a palm plate. Now it also supports screw-in stabilizers, but they do include plate-mounted stabilizers. The PCB is south-facing with flex cuts as well. Definitely more focused on the bouncy experience of this keyboard, or the flex and the soft bottom out of this keyboard. And then it comes with 3 foams: the case foam, the plate foam, and some PE foam sheet. Now it also comes with something called a mylar sheet, which I didn't really know what it was, but apparently you put it at the bottom of the keyboard case and it basically just helps with not having any contact with the bottom of the case, because this keyboard is made out of aluminum and apparently it can be very bad for your switches over time. The coolest part about this keyboard is, like I said, it is spring mounted, so they give you 3 different spring weights to choose from: 130, 170, and 230. They don't really advise you to use the 130 because it might be a bit too light and the structural integrity of the keyboard would be kind of iffy. So if you were going to get this keyboard, I recommend the 170 or 230. Me personally, I don't really like a lot of flex in my keyboard, so I went with the 230, and that is what we're going to be using today. Now going into this build, I was going to use the WS Yellow switches from Wuche Studios and Akko's own SAL keycap set, but I will have a review video on those SAL keycap set and you'll know why I did not use them. As for the switches, I decided to just basically transfer the whole build I had in my Freebird TKL to this board because I love the look of this keyboard more than my Freebird TKL. And with that being said, let's get into the build process. Once you get this keyboard, you want to take it apart. It has 6 screws on the bottom. Now, very simple. Just know that the long screws are for the top part of the board and the shorter screws are for the bottom part of the board. Once you do that, you can install the daughter board to the bottom of the keyboard case. The fact that it's not on the PCB itself means that there is going to be a lot more room for flexibility and bounciness, and that is exactly what you want going into this keyboard build. I put on the mylar sheet and then the case foam, and then for the keyboard I decided to use the palm plate with the plate foam, and I'm using the black sesame switches. The keycaps I am also using are the SA Jadeite keycaps again. Once that's all said and done, I installed the stabilizers. I had a massive issue with the enter key stabilizer for some reason, and I could never get it to stop ticking even though I did the holding mod and stuff like that. But after like 2 hours, I don't know what happened, I just figured it out. For the modifier keys, I'm using the Laughing Gas switches from Keeps For All. I think they sound awesome, but they are just a bit too heavy to use on all the keys, so I just like to use them on the modifiers, and I think it just sounds really good. For this build, I'm using all of the foams. Keep in mind, when you hear the sound test and all that stuff later on, I did also do the tape mod, but if you guys are interested in hearing all the configurations you can do with this board, let me know in the comments down below and I can make a sound test video dedicated to just that. The main purpose of this keyboard is the springs, correct? And the springs are kind of just installed to the bottom of the case. You have to just push them in, and then you install these gold little cylinders onto the bottom of the case as well. Basically just keeps the plate intact and have a little bit more structure. After that, you put on these black little rubber nubs to the top part of the spring. That basically just helps it sit on the plate PCB and all that stuff correctly. Once that's all said and done, you put the gold plate and the top part of the case back onto the keyboard. You also have to use some silicone O-rings to the top part of the case. It has some silicone dampeners, and that is basically how you build this keyboard. It looks like there's a lot inside the box, so it can be, a little bit scary at first, but honestly it was a lot simpler than I thought it would be. And Akko has a whole video guide tutorial on YouTube if you were interested in watching it to follow along. So once I did that, I put everything together and this is how it sounds. it sounds very deep, thocky. Has a little pop to it, of course, because it has the PE foam. So you do get that marbly pop sound effect. And the switches, being the black sesames, feel very nice to type on because they're not too heavy, but they're not too light. And the modifier keys just sound awesome and deep. And I love the way SA keycaps sound. Overall, I think this is a very interesting spring mount design that I've never used before. So I was going into this blind, where the final result that you get is very nice. Like I said, if you were interested in a sound test for reviewing all the configurations, let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, I'll be leaving a link to this keyboard in the description below if you do want to buy it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.